All right, we're here with Noel Jaimes.
Hello, Randy.
Hello, welcome to Los Frutos Community News.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the invitation.
So you're running for State Assembly,
57th,
the new district.
the new district.
Well, tell us about yourself.
Well, where do I start? I guess the best place for me to start is my years at Biola University. That's where I got introduced to La Mirada and then the surrounding communities of Norwalk, Whittier, Santa Fe Springs.
And what was the time frame of that?
That was back in 1975, 76.
Okay.
I was one of those slow college students. Took me 5 years to graduate, but I graduated, Christian education major, and basically settled down in La Mirada, bought a home, raised a family, started 3 careers actually. And Jerry, you might enjoy this part. One of my careers to make the mortgage payment of $675 was a combination of Rouse Grocery Company in Lakewood. It was a combination of throwing LA Times newspapers up in La Habra Heights. 4 in the morning, I had to wrap them and deliver them. And then finally, when I did have the time, about 2 or 3 hours in the late afternoons, I was working for Coldwell Banker in Whittier.
So tell us more about your family.
Family, 4 boys. Oldest is Stephen, followed by Daniel, Michael, and Matthew. And a little bit about them. Proud of all 4 of them. They're really good kids. Stephen's married and a beautiful wife, Jody, and they're living out in the Redlands area. He works for Caltrans actually, and takes care of most of the San Bernardino area. Daniel is working for Airsoft GI. Now this is a kicker. This is really fun. We were talking about my candidacy, and I mentioned that Kurt Hankman is one of my supporters. And he goes, Kurt Hankman? I know that name.
Assemblyman Kurt Hankman, right?
Who supported the airsoft industry when there was legislation attempting to put those orange dyes at the front of the pistols. And he went to play Airsoft GI with Kurt Hankman, so we were cracking up. And I said, see, son, you have a political career in the future. Anyway, he's assistant manager for Airsoft GI. Then I have Michael, who was attending Northern Arizona University, and he spent a year there and then said to me during the summer, Dad, do you mind if I don't go to college? And I said, well, not really, but what's your plans? So he said, Dad, I want to go over to Kauai and do plumbing with a relative named Ryan. And he went over to Kauai, liked it, started digging ditches to lay the plumbing, and he just fell in love with plumbing. So he's out there in Kauai. Finally, Matthew, my 16-year-old, he is playing French horn. He's attending Orange County High School of the Arts.
Oh, that's a great school. Seagram?
And Seagram, now talk about Seagram.
Okay.
He is principal horn for the Orange County High School, excuse me, wrong words, Orange County High School Symphony, yeah, of the Arts Symphony. He's first chair there, as well as for the Pacific Symphony Youth Orchestra.
Wow. That's impressive.
Very impressive, because we just got back from Bulgaria last year on a tour to Maxine's hometown of Sofia. So with that, basically, my kids are on their way.
And Maxine's your wife?
No, Maxine is
the
conductor for the Pacific Symphony.
Got it, okay.
And basically from there, pretty much has been doing my real estate career in La Mirada, the general Norwalk, La Mirada, Whittier area for the last 35 years. Been a community there. During that time, I also served on various commissions for the city of La Mirada, Parks and Recs, Human Services, SASFA, which was to help the seniors with their food programs. Worked on when we used to have the La Mirada Hospital. Was on the auxiliary board there, and did the Little League thing, the PTA thing, and all of that there in the community.
What made you decide to run for assembly?
Seeing too many people lose their homes, actually. The overregulation of my own industry and other industries, the fact that people are losing their jobs. I just checked out some of the websites that indicate the unemployment rate. It's called the California Development Department, I believe it's called. They're indicating in our communities of the new district, there are 27,500 people unemployed, with South Whittier, Los Nietos, at a 16.2% unemployment rate right now.
Wow.
I know. I mean, right now, there are families struggling just to put food on the table. And it doesn't matter who you are. I'm trying to help some families. I'm actually working with 9 families right now, helping them do loan modifications. As a member of the California Association of Realtors, I was a director for them for 7 years, roughly 7 years. And about 2-3 years ago, we helped pass legislation that would not permit anybody to charge for services for anybody that received a notice of default on their property. There's too many scams out there, and currently I just try to help the people that allow me the opportunity to help them either modify their loans, which are very hard, or have them leave their property in a dignified way with some money in their pocket to start a new life.
Yeah.
And basically, that's all. There's a lot of things that motivated me, but I think that would be the most principal ones.
So how's the campaign going so far?
It's fine. I like it. I like a quiet campaign. Pretty much, there's a lot of things happening in the background. People want their signs right now, and they want me to start doing a bunch of other things. But right now, the goal is just to get our name out there to certain groups that we really are targeting, and basically that's it right now.
What do you think the biggest problem is in the state?
Well, if I see my own community and extrapolate from there, it's actually a spiritual problem. We have forgotten who we are as a people. We have forgotten who we are when we came to this community to build our lives, build our families, and we have lost that because of what I would call the politically correct environment that we must live in. And let me explain that. I am no longer allowed as a realtor, for example. This is a perfect example. Randy, if I was showing you a home and you asked me, how's the plumbing? In the past, I would just turn on the faucet, flush the toilet, turn on the shower, and we all know what the good sound of a good water flow is. We all know that. But the industry is oh so over-regulated that my errors and omissions attorney no longer permit me to tell you it's okay. I have to tell you, you have to hire a certified plumber at $35 an hour to come and tell you what comes obvious to anybody. The government is just too much involved in the minutia of everyday life. I say let people have a goal, either set it for them or let them set it for themselves. Don't worry how they get there.
Yeah.
People will fail. That's part of life. Sometimes failure is a better teacher than success. I know I myself am not the greatest of academic students, but I think I've done very well with a lot of my street smarts that I've done. So in essence, it's a spiritual problem.
Yeah.
We have forgotten who we are as Americans. We have forgotten our heritage, our history, and we try to live under this PC umbrella that says we can't say anything we're not qualified for, or we're afraid to hurt a minority.
Why do you think this has happened?
As a Christian, I think we've forgotten to worship our God. We have forgotten to humble ourselves before Him and others. And God is sort of letting us go that route, to figure ourselves out who we are as a people.
How do you fix that as an assemblyman?
The best way I can fix that as a Noel better, is a better question, is I just simply get down on my knees and I pray. Either at home or at church, fellowship with other Christians. The simplest way I can even share with both of you is when that guy cuts you off at the front lane, allow it. Don't get upset. There's a reason for it. So again, I call this an emptiness of the soul right now. We're not going to fix our economy until we stop fighting with each other. We're not going to solve political issues. There are great, some of them are really serious issues, until we understand that one side has a good opinion, the other side has a good opinion, and that our founding fathers set up a wonderful system that we can compromise today on one of those items, compromise on the second item, and grow little by little to a unity that makes us Americans.
Very good.
Are you saying that there's just a lack of, I guess you can say lack of maturity in the state legislature now, or is there a lack of morals, or?
There's the money issue. There's a lot of money out there for various interest groups, both Republicans and Democrats. And because money is always driving issues, that has become the god of most politicians. Most politicians will not say, hey, I'm going to take this stand because it's the right stand. And I don't care if I don't get elected again. I mean...
Most of them are afraid to do that.
Yeah, they are. I'm not. I'm not. We're going to stand for the right things, for the right people, at the right time.
So what do you think of the new California open primary law? Everybody runs together in the same...
I think it's a wonderful opportunity for the public to see the character of the individual, to see the kind of person that's putting their foot forward. It gives an opportunity for people like myself to give it a shot. And I think it's part of the American development of our democracy.
You can actually be an independent and vote.
Yes.
Well, you couldn't before.
Yes. And that's good because there are conservative Democrats. There are liberal Republicans.
Mm-hmm.
And in the past, they could not cross. Now they have that opportunity. And my hope is that I can present an image, present a philosophy that is 2, maybe 3 steps right of center. Okay? There are some issues that I am definitely 5, 6, 7 steps right of center, and that is on financial issues. We need to balance our budgets.
Congresswoman up here, Linda Sanchez, has always preached that in Congress, the only way you get things done is by both sides crossing the aisle and compromising.
That's interesting for her to say that.
No, she has said that.
Yeah.
And it's in a book, too.
What do you think about that?
What do you think about that?
From the limited knowledge on her records that I have, and her comments after events that she either loses or wins, the words don't match the actions.
You don't think so?
No, I don't see that.
Do you think the words have some meaning, though? Or should have some meaning?
Here's this is going to sound corny, okay? I tell my kids this: 90% of the time, because I am human,
yeah,
I say what I mean, and I mean what I say. Give me 10% for that human factor.
Okay. All right.
That's right.
That's good.
Let's talk about the California public pension system and the amount of money that is going in and out of people who are, as you can say, almost career politicians, people who have lifetime medical benefits, lifetime retirement benefits, working for astronomically large salaries.
Even your school, college board.
College trustees.
Have huge pensions when they get off the boards or city councils.
What do you think about that? And as an assemblyman, do you think that the California pension system needs to be fixed, or should it be left alone, or what's your feelings on it?
Let me tell you what I love about history, which I am a great fan of. Last year I was reading a book on Benito Juarez, great president of Mexico, contemporary of Lincoln. And in 1857, he passed what was called La Ley de la Reforma, which basically means the reforming of laws, where he basically separated church and state. And when he did that, he discovered one of the worst pension systems in the Mexican government. So pensions have been a problem with us for every government, for every society, since time immemorial. Our current problem, again, goes back to the idea that money drives our politics here. It drives our community here. Because unfortunately, we citizens tend to trust the politicians. I hope, and I've told a few of my friends, please be the friend that is my no friend. I need people to say no, no, no. Then more than, oh, here comes the assemblyman, let's smile and be polite. Our pension system is not working because short-term thinking got us into this problem. Our community boards, whether it's Cerritos Community College or our local city councils, if they don't have a 10-year mindset, they're not going to solve this problem. There's contractual obligations, you can't really break them without really getting into a lot of legal problems. but there is no reason why we cannot incrementally change that over the next 10 years. And I would be one of those assemblymen that would ask for that change. And if it doesn't come, then, you know, I'll have the unions against me. But I think a teacher that's a union member of CalPERS understands that her children and grandchildren will be paying her pension. And her children right now, with 27,000 residents in this assembly district not working, are not going to be able to put into that pension. So it's a circle, it's a cycle. We need to be more responsible as citizens, as American citizens in our community, to be able, like I do once in a while, I call Tom Robinson and La Mirada and say, hey, where's my bridge? You know, because we're expecting our bridge over there. So I'll be one of those gnat flies, I think you call them
gadflies.
Gadflies, one of those gadflies. If we had 5 gadflies per city, per city council, per school board, per that, listen, they would not get away. Anyway, that's my point.
So talk about who some of your key supporters are in your campaign so far.
Well, pretty much starting with my friends. They all think it's great.
Okay.
My main key supporters right now are the ladies at the Whittier Republican Party.
Okay.
That would include Selma Minred, Sylvia Sutherland, as well as Barbara Stone.